Genshin Impact.
Well, we're about to find out, huh?
The game that made me fall in love with gacha games.
Today we're trying Genshin Impact for the first time ever. Spoiler alert. I love it.
That one didn't age quite so well.
Genshin Impact is known for being the most popular game of all time. It revolutionized what gacha games would be known for. From what was once super pixelated, hard monetization pushes, generic mobile games, to something that is now considered AAA quality, until the game fell off pretty hard.
Leave my multi-billion-dollar company alone.
Due to the massive success of Genshin Impact, more games would come out and really copy this AAA style, where it's some sort of open world with tons of fighting mechanics and great team building and a story that is gathering wives, because you need to sell waifus as much as possible, but you got to make sure you got that 50-50 system in, because then they'll lose, and then you got to spend more money to buy your waifu, and I'm now with 37k in debt, and I took all my money in my 401k. But even Hoyoverse themselves have evolved the genre and somehow left Genshin Impact behind. We've seen the massive improvements of the genre even within the Hoyoverse titles, such as Honkai Star Rail for being way more generous for players with the amount of pulls they give out, including free 5 stars, apparently multiple this year in the big 2025. Huge for the big unemployed. I mean, Honkai Star Rail devs even would joke about Genshin could never, which is insane to think that this all tribalistic behavior was created from Hoyoverse themselves, but I digress.
First of all, bless you. Second of all, Genshin could never, and I'm happy.
Huge. Zenless Zone Zero introducing faster combat with dodges, parries, resin overflow, or even other game companies like Kuro Games creating my personal favorite gacha game, Wuthering Waves, by not locking expiration behind a paywall, such as flying, grappling hooks, wall running, even with further releases such as Ananta, Silver Palace. NTE just announced there will be no 50-50 systems and possibly no weapon banners. There's so much development in the gacha space. And then there's Genshin Impact. There's a massive laundry list of problems within Genshin Impact that players have been dealing with for years, and even new problems that developed recently. Somehow, Hoyoverse finds a way to try and improve the game, and in some cases, they genuinely make the game better. Full transparency. We have changes such as at the crafting table, you're able to see exactly how much essential materials you need per character, instead of swapping menus back and forth over and over again. Finally changing the weapon banner to only being 1 fate point, although let's just ignore the fact that, well, this wasn't even there before. Big ups to Tectone, love you, bud. Never forget the sacrifice Tectone made.
I swear to fucking God! You have to be fucking kidding me!
And more. There has been good changes in this video game. But with that being said, with the few list of good changes that's come to the game, it feels completely overshadowed by the lack of acknowledgements of players' real concerns. Things such as resin banks, updated weekly boss mechanics, such as farming the same boss even at least 3 times, or possibly more, the same way you have it in your own game, made by your own company, Zenless Zone Zero. Skip button, which HSR just got. ZZZ has it. I mean, come on, bro. I don't want to hear Paimon speak. I don't care that Corinna got replaced. How about we just take Paimon out and put me in as like Tony Soprano? You motherfucker, where's the freaking gabagoo? And more. There's so many problems with this game. Sadly, Hoyoverse only really cares about money when it comes to Genshin Impact. They don't care about player feedback. They don't. It blows my mind how we have other Hoyoverse games making great changes, although the games have massive problems as well that I won't even get into, and even their other competitors in the gacha space consistently evolving, and somehow Genshin Impact feels like a first-generation gacha game compared to the others. Whether there's a big issue or a small issue in Genshin Impact, one thing is for certain, they'll move at a snail's pace, unless, again, reported to the CCP, because Daddy Dawe is going to get one of his yachts taken away from him. Oh, great heavens. However, there was a beacon of hope. On April 30th, 2025, Hoyoverse made a video titled Behind the Scenes of Genshin Impact. Let's start with Nod Cry. This video acknowledged some of the shortcomings in their game and their hopes to make improvements to storytelling and a couple of other areas. While people were skeptical, like myself, all you could really do is wait and see if these changes would be positive or negative. However, there was another beacon of hope when Hoyoverse finally announced one of the most important pieces of quality of life the community has been begging for years: artifact loadouts. Now, before we dive into artifact loadouts, I did ask ChatGPT what is a loadout so we can get a clear, concise definition of how this works, because it seems in which, for whatever reason, the only community that has a hard time time understanding what a loadout is the Hoyoverse community. So let's break this down. I said, what is a loadout in a video game? In a video game, loadouts refer to the set of equipment, weapon, abilities, and sometimes perks or character customizations that a player selects before entering gameplay. It defines what the player takes into battle or mission and often impacts their playstyle or strategy. Common elements of a loadout may include primary weapon, secondary weapon, melee, grenades, explosives, etc. Example by genre. We have Call of Duty. Loadouts typically include guns, attachments, etc. Fortnite, Destiny 2, RPGs. Some games allow a player to customize and save multiple loadouts to quickly switch depending on the game mode or situation. Wow, let's read that one back one more time. Some games allow players to customize and save multiple loadouts to quickly switch.
Well, Ethan, actually, each person gets 2 loadout designs, therefore I can quickly switch it. Shut the fuck up, bitch!
With this official announcements of loadouts, there was an overwhelmingly positive response for the community as people were very excited. I even posted a video trying to lean more towards the positive side of the situation to show that they had a devs listen moment, to kind of give them some credit, because at the end of the day, I do love Genshin Impact. Believe it or not, it's actually how I met my girlfriend, through Genshin Impact. Oh, whoa. You know, I gotta say, like, I really do got Riz like that type beat. I was like, yo, like, is your Bennett S6? Because, like, if it's S6, like, you could really pull up in my co-op. Like, we could cry or Red just Vine together. And it was, like, cool or whatever. It was cool. She was cool about it. Sadly, Genshin Impact found a way to disappoint the fans again. No surprise here. The system is just a minor addition to what was already implemented into the game over a year ago. January 20th, 2024, version 4.4 introduced a new artifact management system. Even I was fooled when this initially was announced as an artifact loadout system. However, that's not what it was. All it did was allow you to select which set you want, which minor effects you prefer, and then the game would automatically place them onto your character. The system was overall a bit silly, but listen, maybe some new players are really using the system, so I kind of gave it a pass. It was like, all right, man, like maybe Jimbo got home from work and decided to take a shit and he couldn't figure out which viridescent pieces to put on Kaza, so we had the game do it for him. All right, cool, whatever. Although I do find it funny that even their own example, it shows that they were unable to give this person a 4-piece set bonus active. Great system, by the way, trust me, it works wonders, trust me. So while the implementation itself was kind of meh, and I'm gonna use the word improve very loosely, it was kind of improved recently. 16 months later, Genshin Impact announces that we are officially getting these artifact loadouts. So here we are 16 months later, referencing the artifact loadout system, that this is the big improvement. What was the big improvement, you ask? They added a button to allow you to save the artifacts only the game quick recommends. These recommendations are not always going to be optimal, and if you wanted to make any changes to these equipped sets, you can. However, you just can't save it as a loadout. So if I do the quick select, and then after that I want to change my goblet, my crown piece, or whatever, I can go in and physically change it, but I'm unable to save it to the loadout section. I'm only allowed to save the selections they pick. This is fucking insane. To jump through hoops in order to try to make this system works is diabolical when it could have just been as simple as adding a save button. What the fuck are we doing, bro? It's the same exact thing as before, but now it makes a preset and you have 2 save slots per character. There's 99 fucking characters in Genshin Impact. You want me to go to every single character and swap out the Mara Chussie pieces and the emblem pieces and all this other shit? Why can't we just have a normal artifact loadout system? You look at Withering Waves, you look at Etheria Restart, you look at Call of Duty. It's very simple. Save your equipment. There's a plan. Hey, do you want to equip loadouts 1 through 20 on your character? Yes, awesome. Click a button. No, I gotta go to my Riosli, then I gotta go to my Novelette, then I gotta go to my Vika individually. What the fuck is happening, bro? I would be even the slightest amount of charitable if they were actually able to create a functioning loadout system like Wuwa did within a year. However, they were even unable to achieve the easiest quality of lives that other games have accomplished so much faster. I would be even the slightest amount of charitable if this didn't take almost 5 years and there's releases, again, like Withering Waves, who did this in less than a year. Etheria Restart launched with a loadout system. This is a multi-billion-dollar company and they can't even fucking add a save button. Now, before someone says,
Well, Ethan, Genshin Impact artifact loadouts are not even really a big issue. Why are you complaining about it? Why don't you just go play good?
that's the point. Genshin devs are struggling to deliver on even the slightest equality of life that multiple games prior, not even gacha games, Call of Duty, Destiny, Honkai Impact 3 had loadouts. The genuine lack of effort put into these quality of life features show their lack of care. You cannot convince me that this multi-billion-dollar company that has neglected players for years because they didn't want to give them anxiety are unable to create at least a save button. A save button would allow for the minimum. That's the minimum they could do to make this actual artifact setup good. Again, the fact that I can't universally swap emblem from Sheng Lang to this person, to that person, to that person, in the click of a button is diabolically dog shit. But the bare minimum I'm asking is for a save button, and they can't even fucking give you that. They can't even give you a save button. And the whole argument again is, well, this is the bottom of the barrel loadout stuff. It doesn't really matter. So why you're crashing out? If this is such an easy thing to accomplish, why can't they add a save button? If it's so easy and it's not that big of a deal, you're right, it's not. Add a save button.
I'm with you. If it's so fucking easy, why can't they do it?
Genshin Impact had the exact opportunity to fix this issue. A Genshin Impact CC by the name of Jello, who makes excellent content, even made a video exposing the issues and possible workarounds with the system during the beta as they had early beta access. We shouldn't even have to be creating crackhead theory tinfoil spreadsheet workarounds for a fucking artifact loadout system. This is the easiest thing to create. I just don't understand. If Hoyoverse can't create a save button for one simple function to work, which these players have been begging for literal years, my hopes for them fixing any of the problems I've mentioned earlier or the new problems that arise have completely lost faith. So while you white knight for Hoyoverse and defend everything they do, I'm going to start handing out a couple job applications. Hopefully, at least, you'll be able to get paid for sucking Dawe's dick. That being said, I love you. See you in the next one.